Well, guys, it finally happened. We all knew it was going to happen, and it happened yesterday. Got an email from Google, from Susan Wojcicki piece, and it says, True Media Portland, we have removed your channel from YouTube. I think we were at like 300 something videos, or 200 something maybe. Quite a lot of content, a lot of truth. Hi, True Media Portland. We have reviewed your content and found severe or repeated violations of our community guidelines. Because of this, we have removed your channel from YouTube. We know this is probably very upsetting news. No, it's not. Don't worry. It's okay, Susan. But it's our job to make sure that YouTube is a safe place for all. If we think a channel severely violates our policies, we take it down to protect others. Sound familiar? Yeah. So the reason they took it down was for episode 17 on my channel, which goes all the ways back to the summer, probably August, episode 17, one of the oldest episodes on the channel. This is ridiculous, but it's gone. Don't be sad, because True Media Portland has hard drive after hard drive full of everything. So don't worry. As long as there are interwebs, there will be True Media. And for now, we'll just keep rocking this backup channel, censor ourselves just a little bit. And we're growing on BitChute. Come on over to BitChute. We're doing good. We're almost at 60 subs over there. So, I mean, obviously, thank you to everybody who's made it this far. There's like 155 subs on True Media Portland 2.0. I'm sure a lot more people view it than that. Classic YouTube, always lying about stuff. But we'll keep growing. Like I said, we got everything. It's no problem. So, last night, my roommate and I wanted to cheer ourselves up and watch a movie, you know. So we decided, let's watch The Patriot. It's the best movie ever. And as the movie's starting, I'm sitting there talking about how much I love Mel Gibson and how he's the only guy in Hollywood who's legit. And then what happens at the beginning of the movie? Watch this. Watch the subtitles. Unbelievable. So this came out 1 year before 9/11, and of course, right after 9/11, they signed the Patriot Act, which really sealed the deal on our rights and liberties, for all you young viewers. So yeah, 1 year before 9/11, the opening of this super patriotic movie. And this movie played a role, you guys, because they needed a huge surge of patriotism and nationalism in order to validate what was about to happen and what is still happening in the Middle East. So, you know, 9/11 served multiple functions, right? I guess people benefited from it in multiple ways, and one of those ways was justification for the war in the Middle East. And this movie prepped people. This movie pre-programmed people for that surge in patriotism, that surge in nationalism. So maybe Mel Gibson's not on our team. Yeah, look at those subtitles. The opening. Of course, the scale is a Masonic symbol, right? Let's watch it again. Mel Gibson. No. Oh, it's too bad. So what we're going to do before Christmas break here, so we're going to read out of Politics by Aristotle. But I got some pictures we can look at first. So take a look at your screen. Yeah, we'll do propaganda. We got some new propaganda here in Portland. Check this one out. It's a white guy with a red gator. This is a banner on a light post in Portland, Maine. It's a white guy with a red gator, and below it's in Arabic. And of course it's staythecourse.me. I don't know what it says in Arabic. I don't know any white guys who speak Arabic. I do actually know one from college, but I haven't spoken with him in like a decade. And we got this one right here with all the different masks. There's a polka dot mask, and it says, wear your mask. And there's another polka dot mask. One of the masks says, stay the course. And then we got the pine tree with the pentagram. which all the liberals up here love to wear. It's like really popular for some reason. It wasn't popular last year. I guess it's like one of the main, maybe the original Maine flag. I don't know, but it's got a pine tree and a pentagram on it, and it's kind of like this unspoken symbol of the lefties. Okay. Oh no, I don't want to delete that. Never. Okay, next one. This one's interesting. It's a Latin X fellow with an orange gaiter on, and it says, Maine tenés la cap. Also says stay the course. Maine. I think, what is that? Maintain the course, stay the course in Spanish? It's my guess. This piece of art was pretty disturbing. It's meant to be like two Sasquatches facing one another, but I think it has a different subliminal picture. I hope my pictures work. I think subliminally it's a woman's legs spread open with her hoo-ha in the middle. I think that's subliminally what this art is. That's the first thing I saw. Kind of disturbing. This is a classic one, but we've never seen one in green. This is called the Bear Moose mask banner. It's pretty cool. It's the same bear that I have. I'll show you guys Big Bear after this in the museum. Here we got another one of these. This is like the new theme. It's a brown person with a blue mask, and it says Matienda el rumbo, I think. Probably means maintain the course, stay the course. Look at this one. Yay! It says be kind, wear a mask, and there's just like all these people floating around. Coof balls. Oh my gosh. Check this one out. It's a black gentleman with a mask on. There's our orange, which is 33 in numerology. And it says Siwad Kursada, which is probably an African language. We have a Ghanaian population, a Somalian population, I think an Ethiopian population. Quite a few. I don't know what language this is. Comment if you know. Swahili? I have no clue. This is on the window of Starbucks. We have our Masonic checkerboard sweater, right? Look at this, you guys. You can't even tell what gender it is. At first you think it's a female, but then you look at the face and it's distinctly male. And the left eye is pronounced, and there's some nose rings and a chin ring. Interesting. Check this one out. This is on the playground down the street. It's not traumatic or anything. You know, you're not instilling fear. You're not going over the top at all. Having kids see this every time they go to play. Playground safety guidelines. Note, playgrounds are not manually or chemically sterilized. What is the point? This is traumatic to children. This is traumatic. This is child abuse. Like, when I go for walks in my neighborhood, all these parents are pretty much just abusing their children. It's awful. It's so dystopian. A slide is about 6 feet. Before and after using the playground, wash hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. And it actually shows little coof balls falling off the hands as they wash. Look at, they look like Oops Just Berries, which is Captain Crunch berries without the Captain Crunch. It's ridiculous. And then it says use hand sanitizer that contains at least 60% alcohol. Maintain a distance of 6 feet from people you don't live with. So this traumatic propaganda tells kids not to even approach one another at the playground. How do people not see that this is evil? Check this out, dude. This is kind of scary. We have these, like, I guess we call it art, right? I don't know what's going on her mask. I don't know if those are N95 respirators or if it's a graphic, perhaps. They look a little bit like spike proteins. I'm not sure. She's got an eyebrow piercing. And then her friend down here, just so edgy, so cool. Like, I wish I was that cool. It gets cooler. This kid's cool. Check this out. It's so rad. Masonic pose. hand on the, hand on chin. And then this girl down here, super rad. Possibly a protester for racial justice. Looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. And then this one in the middle, it says, thank you to our DSPs. If you know what a DSP is, please let me know in the comments. I can't keep up with this. I just learned what a xenophobe is, and I already forgot. So let me know if you know what a DSP is. Yeah, pretty cool. There's all of it in one shot, right? Stop the spread. I love this one. We're getting a little fight back, guys. There's someone's going out there with counter propaganda, stickers and signs. I gotta find out who it is. Email truemediaportland@gmail.com because we're ready to hit the streets with you. Welcome to Trash Clown City. Love it. That lasted a day. It's gone. Check out this book, Global Critical Race, Feminism, and International Reader. So here's the symbol of the scale. There you go. It's an international communist, socialist, Illuminati, New World Order, Freemasonic symbol. It's all over the world. Scales of justice, right? Just like Mel Gibson. 9 pounds, 11 ounces. Perfect. Oh, so evil. This is on CVS's door. I guess a lot of people are asking. They're banging at the door. Do you have any tests? Put the thing in my nose. Oh, man. I thought this was just a nice shot of the Capitol. What else we got? Just cool architecture. Check out the lions, right? You have Boaz and Jochin, the Masonic pillars and the arch, and then you have the 2 lions on top of each one. Why are there door knockers up there? You know what I mean? Like, that's not a door, and nobody can reach that. It's because it has symbolic meaning. Won't get into it. We got a lot to do. Check this out. Mask required. Over the nose, under the chin. Thank you. What else we got? Look at all these. I wonder if they come from the website that Janet Mills just allocated $100,000 to this time around. Who knows how much in the past. Hey, come into my store, but wear a face covering. Don't touch anything. Don't come near anybody, and don't use cash. Thanks. They won't last. We counted 13 empty stores last time we went out yesterday, or the day before. Check it out. I didn't know we had a sister city in Shinagawa, Japan. This is a gift from our sister city. It's a Japanese post office tube thing. Thank you. Check it out. This is our hero. Boom. Finding a intact, stay the course, Hollywood Squares edition sign like this. There was like 50 of them, and they've almost all been destroyed. So we're fighting back. I don't know who's doing it, but check this out. No new normal sticker. Boom. I love it. I got to get me some of those. All these masks all these signs are getting destroyed. There's a little bit of partisan warfare going on in Portland. It's pretty sick. No new normal. The lefties definitely have the advantage, though. Pretty cool Masonic architecture in the windows here. 1796, 1867. And one thing I've noticed taking photos of all these buildings, these mother effers made a lot of money off the Civil War. All of these buildings, all of these beautiful buildings in Portland were built within a decade after the Civil War. So it's very obvious that all these people up in New England, there's a lot of different old banks, all these banksters out of Portland, and all these international shippers and customs workers and all those people, merchants and stuff. Yeah, they made a killing off of the Civil War. Of course, that's how it works, right? War is a racket, like Schmedley Butler tells us. Ah, that episode's gone. I think that was on the old channel. It's on BitChute, though. Don't forget to go to BitChute. This is, for example, here's one of the bank buildings, 1826 it was made, the Canal Bank building. Pretty cool. It's got the phoenix, or the eagle, and it's got the pentagram and the torches. I don't know what these are called. The axe that's like wrapped up in a bundle. But why is it called the Canal Bank building? Well, 1826 was the height of the age of transportation. That's pretty cool. It was the beginning of locomotives, and all over what was the United States at that time, they built canals. So like the Erie Canal, all over the country, they built waterways, they built turnpikes, right? This was before cars, obviously, but the infrastructure of transportation really bloomed during this time, so it's appropriately named Canal Bank Building. Portland probably had some canals. Cool fact, underneath the roads in Portland, way back in the day, they used hollowed out birch trees for pipes. So they were making plumbing systems with hollowed out trees. Quite fascinating. Pretty cool. Look at this one. My brother spotted this. So 1868, of course, beautiful Masonic building that was erected right after the Civil War. Fits the pattern. Look at this. There's 3 faces, right? Pay attention. One at the top, one at the bottom. On the second floor, look at this. He's got devil horns. How about that? How about that? Portland is one of the most satanic Luciferian cities I've ever been in my life, and I got so much evidence of it. So look at it. We got the devil right here with the 2 horns. Let me show you you've probably seen this, most of you, but maybe not. So let's see. Cell shots. Take me a second to find it, but Franklin Roosevelt's great-great-grandpa lived in Portland. His name was Thomas Delano. So FDR's, obviously his middle name is Delano, right? Franklin Delano. This is Thomas Delano's house. And Thomas Delano was, I think he was a Yale guy. I think he went to Yale. Might have been Skull and Bones. But as you can see here, beautiful old house with a Masonic doorway, and then the sky is painted under the doorway, right? And then the light, obviously representing the sun inside the firmament, and you zoom in, and what do you have on Thomas Delano's porch here? Lucifer. Satan. Clearly a devil, right? Unbelievable. Portland's got so much of that stuff. I'm working on something right now. There's a string of stores, like 6 of them, and they're all clearly weirdly satanic. I'll get back to that when I have a story together. A beautiful Masonic doorway with the 2 pillars, right? This is the biblical cosmology of the plane we live on. So you have Boaz and Jochin, the pillars. This is from the Bible, right? And then you have the firmament right here, the dome. So it's pretty cool. A lot of buildings like that in Portland. Okay, I showed you Thomas Delano. I feel like I wanted to show you one more thing. Hold on. They were doing road work, and I was walking to work last year, and they were digging real deep, and below the pavement in Portland is cobblestone, and they went below the cobblestone because they were replacing some water pipes, and they actually hit some of the wood pipes, and they dug up this axe head. I soaked it in vinegar for days. It took me forever to get this much of the rust off, but it's iron. It's definitely handmade, and look at the way it was made to, oh, the sun's kind of in the way. Look at the way it was made to wrap around the handle. Never seen anything like it. It's completely one of a kind. Can't find anything like it on the internet. And then this side, that little white piece looks like possibly whalebone. Whaling was a big industry, and whalebone was a kind of like the ivory of New England during those days. You can actually see some of the handle is petrified. Some of the wood handle is, completely turned to mineral, solidified in there. So if you know anything about this, this must have been wrapped around a handle while it was hot, and it's done in the most peculiar way. I don't know if it's native, I don't know if it's colonial, but I'd imagine it was found near those wooden pipes way down there and it's bent. So perhaps somebody's axe broke when they were setting up those pipes hundreds of years ago. I don't know. Maybe one of you know, because Maine is full of smart people like that. Anyway, let's read out of Politics by Aristotle. Let me show you the cover. This is a classic. This is one of the books. Well, Alexander the Great would have got it firsthand tutoring from Aristotle, but this book is that old. It goes back to that time. Quite amazing. And what we're going to read is going to blow your mind. So it's only going to take a minute. So Aristotle, in his work Politics, kind of like Plato's Republic, lays out his idea of the different forms of government, their benefits, the pros and cons, gives examples from his time. So this is 2,200 years old, 2,300 years old, something like that, maybe a little older. And we're reading chapter 5 here. The particular causes of conflict and change in democracies, oligarchies, and aristocracies. We actually read a very similar piece of Plato's Republic that was just like this. So Aristotle was a student of Plato, so we're going to get the student's opinion. 1. Democracies. This is going to blow your mind, guys. So let's just establish off the bat, we live in like an oligarchical sort of phony democracy. I think we live in an oligarchy at this point. It's looking like that, like a tech oligarchy. They're all working together at the top. It's not looking good. We're living in a democratic, oligarchic aristocracy under the guise of a republic. It's very confusing, but let's read democracy. So democracy in the ancient Greek terminology is one man, one vote. So majority rule, mob rule, right? Democracies. Here, change tends to be caused by the policy of demagogues in attacking the rich, individually or collectively. In early times, demagogues often made themselves tyrants. They no longer do so, and indeed tyrannies of every sort are becoming rare, owing, among other causes, to the increased size of cities. Democracy is liable to change from the older and more moderate forms to a new and extreme type. This is largely due to the courting of the people by eager candidates for office. So Aristotle's saying, even in his time, tyrannies used to be overt. It used to be obvious, right? They used to actually just like bust your door down with swords and, torture you and get their way. But as cities grew and population grew, what Aristotle's saying here is that changes and revolutions in democracies come from demagogues who run for office. And they always attack the rich. That's in the very first sentence. So if a great change, not even a revolution, if just a big change is to come in a democracy, Aristotle tells us is going to come by demagogues, likely candidates for office, attacking the rich. It's exactly what we live in today, isn't it? 2,300-year-old book. Okay, we must now take the different constitutions separately and study successively in the light of these general propositions what happens in each of these types. In democracies, changes are chiefly due to the wanton license of demagogues. This takes two forms. Sometimes they attack the rich individually by bringing false accusations and thus force them to combine, for a common danger unites even the bitterest enemies. Sometimes they attack them as a class by stirring up the people against them. The result of such action may be seen in a number of instances. And we'll stop there for a second. So he's laying out the two ways these demagogues, these potential candidates, or these institutors of change, sometimes they go after people individually, like Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg, right? Or Bernie Madoff, right? It's funny. He made off like a bandit. Ha ha ha. Yeah, sometimes they attack them individually by bringing false accusations and thus force them to combine. What does that mean? We would use the term force them to nationalize, maybe, right? Force them to, open their company to employees having holds of shares, stuff like that. And then, of course, they attack the rich as a group. They attack them as a class, and we see a lot of that today, right? The 99% versus the 1%. Okay, so he's going to list a couple examples in his day. Well, I guess a little bit before his day, and in his day. So at Kos, that's a place, democracy was overthrown by the rise of discreditable demagogues and the combination of notables against them. The same thing happened at Rhodes, where the demagogues first introduced a system of payment for attendance at the assembly and courts, and then withheld the sums due to the trierarchs. The result was that the trierarchs vexed the suits brought against them and were compelled to combine and overthrow the democracy. So they started charging people to take part in the government, and then they just stole the money. I think that's what it says. And that caused class warfare. Okay, at Heraclea, democracy was ruined by the behavior of demagogues soon after the colony was founded. They treated the notables unjustly and drove them out by their conduct, but the notables gathered their forces, returned, and overthrew the democracy. At Megara, too, democracy was ruined in a similar way. The demagogues, anxious to have an excuse for confiscating the property of the notables would be the people, I guess, drove a number of them into exile, with the result that the exiles became so numerous that they effected their return, defeated the people in battle, and established an oligarchy. Wow. So at Megara, the demagogues were using whatever excuse they could find to confiscate the property of the notables. I think the notables would kind of be like a class of voting people back then. The different states of Greece all had different rules. So for a while, like Athens was actually democratic where everybody got a vote. But yeah, they all experimented with these different forms of government. So at Megara, these demagogues, these democratically elected demagogues, think about that, they have the same root, right? Demagogue and Democrat. And yeah, they were coming up with any excuse to confiscate the property of the people. And what do we have going on today, you guys? The exact same thing. Can't argue it. Okay. The same thing happened to the democracy at Syme, which was overthrown by Thrasymachus. A survey of changes in other cities would show that they have generally been of this character. Sometimes the demagogues, seeking to win popular favor, drive the notables to combine by the injuries they inflict upon them. By requiring them to undertake expensive public services, they force them to break up their estates or cripple their revenues. Sometimes they bring false accusations in the courts in order to be in a position to confiscate the property of the wealthier citizens. Wow, that's New York and California, right? They tax the hell out of these companies, and if the companies try to get out of it, they bring these companies to court. They just viciously go after them, these demagogues, these AOCs, and these Gavin Newsoms and people like that. They're just, they're so bad. They're straight up out of this book, straight up out of Aristotle's Politics. Okay, and I think we'll just leave it there. But let me see. This was my cousin's book. Let me see what she underlined. The next chapter is oligarchies. How do changes come about in oligarchies? Because we're kind of living in that too. We're living in all three of these: democracy, oligarchy, aristocracy, and we're living in a republic as well. It's very complex. Let's read the beginning of oligarchy. Here, changes are due partly to unjust treatment of the masses, and partly to factional disputes within the governing class. Wow. Holy shnikes, that's exactly what's going on right now. Unjust treatment of the masses and factional disputes in the government. Spot on. First sentence. Such disputes may arise, 1. If a section of that class begins to play the demagogue, Democrats. 2. If some of its members become impoverished and turn revolutionary, AOC, and the 4, whatever their names are. And 3. If an inner ring is formed inside the ruling body, Trump and the MAGA group. Personal disputes may affect the stability of oligarchies, and accidental causes, e.g. a general growth of wealth, increase in the number of those eligible for office, may insensibly alter their character. Holy crap, you guys. It's like they're using this as a playbook. Personal disputes may affect the stability of oligarchies. We don't even have to give examples. That's everything. That's the whole Trump left-right paradigm. Accidental causes may insensibly alter their character, the character of the oligarchy, right? And the examples are a general growth of wealth. So this year we have increased our wealth so much, insane numbers with these bills. And then increasing the number of those eligible for office. What are the Democrats trying to do? They're trying to make D.C. a state. They want to make Puerto Rico a state. They want the Supreme Court to have 14 people on it. Right out of this book. Ugh, it's mind-blowing. There are two especially obvious methods by which changes are generally brought about in oligarchies. One is the unjust treatment of the masses by the government. Any leader is then an adequate champion, especially when it so happens that the leader comes from the ranks of the governing class itself. Wow, that's exactly what Trump is. So with this unjust treatment of the masses, any leader is then an adequate champion. Trump's a champion, dude. Totally. He's a savior, right? This was the case with Lygodamus of Naxos, who afterwards made himself a tyrant on the island. Where factional conflict begins outside the governing class, it may take several different forms. Sometimes an oligarchy is undermined by people who, though wealthy themselves, are excluded from office. This happens when the holders of office are a very limited number, as for example at Massilia, at Istros, at Heraclea, and in other cities. Here, those who had no share in office continued to cause disturbance till some share was finally given, first to the elder brothers in the family and then to the younger two. Wow. Crazy. Well, guys, we'll leave it there. Aristotle's Politics. Must read. Add it to your library. You can probably get it online for free. Hope you all have a great holiday. I hope you don't follow any of the stupid rules. And I hope you're able to convince those family members of yours who may not be on the same wavelength. Good luck with that. I'll see you guys in a couple of days. God bless.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazi triumphs of 1940-41. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats in open battle, man to man. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.